Okay, students. So, in the previous video, we had understood that how data is collected through personal interviews, and under this video, we'll understand that how data is collected using the informations through questionnaires. All these, this also comes under primary source only. So, we'll understand that how data is collected through information with the help of questionnaires, right? So, here you can see that there are two ways of collecting information on the basis of questionnaire. Now, questionnaire is what is it means that a particular format of question is made, it is prepared according to the requirement of the investigator. He prepares a list of questions, and that particular document is called as questionnaire, right? So, under this information collection with the help of questionnaires, we have again sub methods. That is, first is your mailing method. Now, under this mailing method, what happens is the questionnaires are mails to the respondents. The respondents are the one who will respond to the questions. So the questionnaires, they are mailed to the respondents. Now, mailing method, as the name suggests, it will only be given, it will only be sent to those persons who are literate, who can read and who can write or who can respond. So mailing method is under this, the questionnaires are mailed to the respondents. Then a letter is attached with the questionnaire giving the purpose of the inquiry. Now, along with the questionnaire, the letter is also attached, which mentions that why the questions are being asked, what is the basic purpose of getting the answers of these questions, what is the purpose of inquiry. So a letter is attached along with that, and then it is also assured that the information would be kept secret, right? So this is also mentioned along with the questionnaire, and the respondents, they note down the answers against the questions and returns the completed questionnaire to the investigator. This is what happens, that after filling the answers to the questions, they return back the questionnaire, they mail back the questionnaire to the investigator. Now, this particular type of method, that mailing the questionnaire, is used in the places where the respondents, they are literate, where they have knowledge, right, where they can understand, and where the area of study is very much wide, because mail is shooted to a large number of people at a time. It can be sent to a very large number of people at a time, and therefore this particular method is suitable in such cases. So merits of this method is that it is very much economical in nature, because there is no expenditure of visiting the respondents, there is no expenditure of printing the papers, because under the mail we are sending just the soft copies of the questionnaire to the respondents. They will fill those questionnaires and they will just reply it back, right? So there is no need of the hard copy of the papers. It will save time, it will save money and all. So therefore it is economical in nature. Obviously, it has a wide coverage. This is also a merit of it, because mail can be shooted to a large number of people at a time, at an instance of time even. And it will give the original information. Why? Because the answer is completely filled by the respondents themselves. They are educated enough, they will read the questions, they will answer the questions, and these answers will be original in form. But on the same hand, we have some demerits also, like it will lack of interest. Sometimes they don't feel like responding the mails, right? Some people, they don't feel responding the mails, they don't answer the questions. So there are chances of lack of interest, that people don't give any heed to such questionnaires. Next, lack of flexibility, because there will be a little bit less flexibility, or you can say there will be a little bit rigidity in this. So because when the questions are not properly replied, so it cannot be changed to obtain the required information. For example, you can say that some question is there, right? Now that particular question, the respondent is not able to understand the question, so he will answer whatever he'll understand. So, and the question cannot be modified then, because he cannot cross question on that question, right? The respondent, if he is unable to answer the question, so he cannot change, or he cannot ask that what is this question, I'm not understanding this, because there is no face to face contact. The question is in written form. So the questions cannot be modified according to the respondents. If they are not understanding the questions, they may give wrong answers also, right? And there is no scope for changing the questions at a particular stance of time. This is what lacks flexibility. Now it limited use, because we are able to send this only to the educated person. The illiterate people, they will not be able to be covered under this method. It will be biased. If the respondents they are biased, it means the information will also be biased. It may happen that the respondents may give wrong information, they may give wrong answers to the questions, they may fill the wrong answers, they can mark the wrong answers, whatever it is. The last thing is lack of accuracy. Now, because some questions may be difficult, so the some questions may not be understood by the respondents. They can give you the wrong answers. They can give you the biased answers. It will lack. There will be lack of accuracy, and definitely it will lead to doubtful conclusions always. Right. So this is what mailing method is, what suitability it has, and what are its merits and demerits. So the next thing which we have is after this is enumerators method. Now, enumerators method, again a type of questionnaire information only, but under this method the questionnaire is not mailed to the respondents, right? The questionnaire is the questionnaire is taken to the respondents himself, right? The respondents will carry the questionnaire, right? He will get it filled by the respondents, or he can fill it himself also. So when the enumerators they fill the questions themselves, so that particular questionnaire becomes what? It becomes the schedule. It is called as schedule. So schedule is nothing. Schedule is just a questionnaire when it is filled by the enumerator himself, right? So this under this method, under enumerators method, the enumerator himself approaches the respondents with the questionnaires. The questionnaires which are filled by the enumerators are called as schedules. So we can say that under this method, the enumerator himself fills the schedules after seeking the information from the respondents. The enumerator, he will take the questionnaire along with him or her. After that, he will ask the questions from the respondents orally and will mark the answers in the questionnaire himself, right? So this method will be used in the place where the respondents are illiterate, when they are not educated. So therefore the enumerator will go and ask the questions orally and will mark the answers in the questionnaires himself, and such questionnaires are called as schedules. The questionnaire is not sent through the mail now. The questionnaire will be taken by the enumerator himself to the respondents, and he will fill it himself after asking the answers to the questions, right? So this particular method will be suitable when the field of investigation is large, definitely, and when some specialized investigators are required, because such kind of investigation, when there is a need for enumerator to fill the schedules, when the enumerators are themselves filling the questionnaire, the answer to the questionnaires, there is very much need the investigators to be skilled and trained. Therefore, where the enumerators are skilled and trained, such type of method is very much suitable. So here we have merits of this. It has a wide coverage, definitely. It has accuracy also. Then there is a personal contact, because the enumerator is himself asking the questions from the respondent, so there is a personal contact. Then there is impartiality also, because the enumerators themselves, they do not need to required they themselves do not need the required information, so they are impartial. They don't need information for themselves, they are collecting the information for the investigator. Enumerators are appointed by the investigator, so the enumerators, they will collect the information. It is not for themselves, so they will remain impartial. And the last thing is that completeness is there, that schedules, they have merits of completeness, so all the information which is required is fulfilled there. Then we have some demerits also, and demerits is that it is very much expensive, because the questionnaires are taken in form of hard copies, in form of papers, and we need proper training to the we need training for the enumerators, right? So training requirement is also there. Then we have there is a problem of that availability of enumerators. The competent enumerators may not be available, so the accuracy of information accordingly suffers with that. Then it is a time consuming method, because a proper training, specialized training is required. So it will take time, first of all, for giving training to the enumerators. Then the process of investigation, therefore it becomes time consuming also, right? And it is not suitable for private investigation. Now, since this method is very much expensive, as we already know, so it is not generally suitable for private investigation. So this method is generally basically used by the government institutions only. And the last thing it is that it is a bit partial also, because the enumerators may be biased, so then it will not be a accurate information or a accurate data. So this is what the demerits of enumerators method. And the last thing about this thing is questionnaire, is that the questionnaire should be properly framed. Now, how to frame a questionnaire, what should be the qualities of a good questionnaire is discussed here. First of all, we can see that the questionnaire should have limited number of questions. It should not have unnecessary questions. Only the questions which are required, only those are required to be mentioned. Not unnecessary questions should be there. It will just lead to lack of interest, or people may not be willing to answer a large number of questions. Second, the questions should be very much simple. They should be not too long. Questions should be short, right? So, and one more thing which is important to understand is that mathematical questions must be avoided. They must not be asked mathematical questions. So next is proper order of the questions. Questions must be placed in a sequence, that one after the another. Means there should be a proper connection between the questions. The question which is required to be asked first, it should be written on the top, and then accordingly we should follow the pattern of the questions, right? There should be a proper order of the questions. Next thing is that undesirable questions should be avoided, which is not necessary. Then questions, they should be non-controversials, right? So questions should be such that the answers can be given impartially, right? There should not be such questions which may lead to partiality of answers. Then second thing is that we talk about the calculations. The questions involving calculations by respondents must be avoided. One more thing which I have earlier told you, that mathematical questions must be avoided. So again, the same thing it applies here for calculations also, because everyone and every person cannot do the calculations and they cannot answer the questions. So therefore such questions must be avoided. Next thing is that pre-testing pilot survey must be done. That before conducting a large scale survey, a pilot survey is needed to be done on a small number of people. A small number of people should be covered. Then the questionnaire should be sent to them, and then we can just take a kind of a sample of answers, and then we can see that whether it is fulfilling the conditions or not, what is required for investigation, and whether there is a requirement of some editing the questions. So this can be used, and this should be there in a questionnaire, right? Then instructions should be properly given, that how to answer the questions. Then questions, such questions may be asked which help cross verifications. Cross verification questions can also be asked. And at last, that there should be a request for return. It should be made to the respondents to return the questionnaire completed in all respects. Okay, there should be a kind request, a polite request, that please you are requested to answer all the questions. So a kind request can be made in the questionnaire itself. So the respondents must be assured that the information conveyed by them, or it will be treated as confidential only. There will no leak of information given by them. So these are the qualities of a good questionnaire which must be there.